News Panorama is a TV news magazine program that gives you the story behind the story.
It tells the stories the way they should be told by capturing the larger scale.
It deals with people's deep feelings on issues that, when brought to the fore, ultimately educates, informs and entertains.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
This week on News Panorama, we take a look at the inauguration of commissioners in Cross River State, inauguration of ministers in Abuja, Nigerian exchange rates, evolution of technology, sexual harassment, and more. Welcome and thanks for joining me on the program News Panorama. I am Josephine Efanga. If you have just tuned in, you are watching News Panorama.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
A few days ago, the Cross River State Governor, Prince Betta Edu, inaugurated 31 commissioners in Calabar, the state capital. Immediately after the inauguration, some commissioners resumed office and met with their management staff, highlighting the techniques they have brought on board the report.
A few days ago, the Cross River State Governor, Prince Betta Edu, inaugurated 31 commissioner designates to constitute members of the State Executive Council, assigning portfolios to them. The ceremony, which took place at the temporary governor's office, Ghana Chibang Lodge, Calabar, had the state deputy governor, Right Honorable Peter Ode, the state's chief judge, Justice Akoni Kweme, and spouses of commissioners in attendance. Governor Betta Edu urged the new commissioners to work towards ensuring that the state is brought back to life. The governor proceeded to assign Senator representing Cross River North at the National Assembly, Senator Stephen Ode, as Commissioner for Education. Mr. Mike Odere is to serve as Commissioner for Finance, with Mr. Ededamani as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. Others are Dr. Beatrice Igwe as Commissioner for Housing, a former State Publicity Secretary of All Progressive Congress. Mr. Erasmus Ekpan will serve as Commissioner for Information. Mr. Kingsley Egumi as Commissioner for Human Capital and Entrepreneurial Development. Mr. Patrick Egbede was assigned to take charge of the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment, and Mr. Abubakar Ewa, Commissioner for Culture and Tourism. Immediately after the inauguration, some commissioners resumed duty at their assigned offices, inspecting facilities and interacting with staff of their ministries. At the Ministry of Education, Senator Stephen Ode charged directors, boards, agencies, and institutions under the watch of the Ministry of Education to sit up, as he is committed and poised to restore the unrestorable in the ministry. He noted that the late entrance examination of learners and the late release of learners' results must, as a matter of urgency, become a thing of the past, and as such will no longer be tolerated.
My coming here is going to take a different dimension. We are going to reform the unreformable. I hear a lot of stories about this ministry. We will make sure the writing is done in Cross River State. So education is supposed to be the center of excellence. I want to urge you, let us key in and then do our best.
Mr. Patrick Egbede is the Commissioner for Wealth Creation and Employment. He says the ministry, which is Governor Tu's brainchild, is poised to bring succor to the youth and unemployed.
Well, being that the ministry is new and is the brainchild of the governor, I think Cross Riverians, especially the youth, they should be ready, because the governor is prepared to create employment for them. He's prepared for those that want to go into skill and entrepreneurship development. They should be prepared. Whatever assistance, whether loan, grant, on everything, will be given to them. So very soon, in fact, from next week or so, we are going to start a compiling of all the graduates, youth graduates, and all the unemployed in River State, local government by local government, central district by central district. The
Commissioner for Lands, Chief Francis Ekpenyong, while inspecting the ministry, said there is much to be done, and he will leave no stone unturned.
I've been there. They've given me an overload. I have to go home, study it, come up with where they failed, and come up with solutions. Where there is nothing to work with, I come up with solutions. Everything about what is here and what is not here will be properly taken care of. For procurement, acquisitions of office furniture and everything, we are going to follow the procedures as it is laid down, especially with due process. Thank him so much for giving me this opportunity to save the state in this capacity. For Cross Riverians, I tell them to have hope in the Ministry of Lands, because the whole gamut of industrialization, agriculture, everything is here. Everybody must have hope in the Ministry of Land, because it's a new dimension.
The Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Mr. Abubakar Ewa, while interacting with staff of the ministry, said he will work in the tourism development and significantly transform Calabar into a natural paradise where most fun seekers and visitors wish to visit. In all this, every hand must be on deck to move Cross River State to greater heights. For CRBC News Panorama, Josephine Efanga reporting.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday inaugurated 45 ministers designate in Aso Rock, Abuja. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukoya Ariwola, administered the oath of office to ministers, including the 2 ministers designate from Cross River State. Senator Owan Enoh and Dr. Betta Edu. Blessing Basi gets reaction of people on these ministers. The report.
President Bola Tinubu in July nominated Dr. Betta Edu and Senator Owan Enoh, both from Cross River State, to serve as ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, going round Calabar Metropolis to sample people's reaction, thought, charges, advice, amongst others, on the appointment. Commenting on appointment, the Commissioner for Establishment, Training and Pensions, Mrs. Laurentia Ita, the Commissioner for International Donor Coordination, Mr. Hippolytus Lukpata, said beyond signifying the president as a man of his words on the inclusion of women and youth in his administration, Dr. Betta Edu and Senator Owan Enoh's appointment as ministers is a demonstration of the president's resolve to get qualified and capable persons of great character and integrity who are committed to the development of the country on board. They highlighted the grassroots performance of the 2 ministers, stressing that the duo will keep the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of the Nigerians alive.
Our president made the right choice of our 2 personalities in the person of distinguished Senator John Owan Enoh and Dr. Mrs. Betta Edu. If you go through their profile and their pedigree, you will know that they are versatile in every aspect of the word, not only in their specific areas of specialization. Versatility means that you can perform in any area you are exposed to.
And looking at the capacity that have been with Senator John Owan Enoh, you will know clearly that that's an appointment that you would describe as a square peg in a square hole.
On their part, the Special Advisor General Duties, Mr. Ekpenyong Akwa, and the Commissioner for Youth Development, Mr. Odum Ukam, stressed that the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owan Enoh, and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, must bring value and proper solutions to the problems facing the nation, as they will perform above bar in their assigned roles. The further said their track record and achievement precede them, and that there is no doubting their capacity to deliver on their mandate.
We are very lucky that in Cross River State, out of their hard work, out of their support as politicians and as a people in the APC, the magnanimity of our president, he has been able to give us 2 full cabinet ministers who are in charge of their ministries and 2 sensitive ministries. The Ministry of Sports, you agree with me, is a leveler, because through sports, a lot of young people will have development. Through sports, will be able to build capacity and create wealth.
Yeah, it's the best of time for Cross River State. Like, you know, before now, we only used to have 1 commissioner. At some point, we even had a junior minister. So it's a good thing that we now have 2 substantive ministers. The 2 persons who have been sworn in as ministers are, been tested and proven. For Betta, who is, flying the flag of the youth. For Senator Owan Enoh, we all know him. He has been in the House of Assembly, House of Reps, and also the Senate, and now he's a minister. He has also distinguished himself in chosen profession and career as a politician. And so we have no doubt that these two products from Cross River State will make us proud, will make Nigeria proud, and will make our president proud.
Other respondents, Mr. Ofyong Ikpembe, and a reporter, Williams Odida, amongst others, charged them to see opportunities in every situation and be ready to weather the storms. They said the two ministers from Cross River State are goal-setters with positive mindset.
It's a nice thing, especially Dr. Betta Edu, when she was the Honorable Commissioner in Cross River State. We saw visibly, even the blind could see what she did. It's a win for Cross River State, it's a win for the youth of Nigeria, and I know there will both be emulation to young politicians in the state.
Senator John Owan Enoh, the Honorable Minister for Sports, and Dr. Betta Edu, the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. They are common names, they are household names to every Cross Riverians. We pray that Senator John Owan Enoh will excel. We pray that he will say it is in his regime that we have more players, more Nigerian-born players abroad coming to the country with curiosity and passion to take part in all kinds of sports to ensure that the lost glory of the nation's sports will be revived.
I've never known him as, a sports minister or something, or a sports person. It's kind of overwhelming and shocking that he's the minister, but we learn every day, so he has experiences that he can use in the sports, sport world. Then for Dr. Betta Edu, I think that one is like is a field, humanitarian affairs and poverty alleviation and everything, like is her stuff. I think she'll do well in that.
We pray for God's grace, mercy, and wisdom to see them through. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Basi reporting.
Sexual harassment is an unwanted and unwelcome sexual advancement, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical contacts of a sexual nature that creates hostile or offensive environment. This is common in workplace, schools, which interferes with the student's ability to learn, study, work, or participate in school activities. Owan Enoh brings details on sexual harassment happenings in the society. The report.
Sexual harassment is a pervasive issue that transcends geographical, cultural, and organizational boundaries and remains a critical concern in today's society. It is evident that no sector or industry is immune to its effect. Sexual harassment is any unwanted behavior that makes someone feel upset, scared, offended, or humiliated, or is meant to make them feel that way. It is a type of sexual violence that often makes victims feel upset, scared, humiliated, or unsafe, and for some, it can have serious impacts on their physical and mental health, as well as affect the quality of life. According to the Equality Act of 2010, someone harasses another person if they engage in unwanted conduct that is sexual in nature, and the conduct has the purpose or effect of either violating the person's dignity or creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment for them. This unwanted sexual conduct can happen physically, on the phone, or online, and both the harasser and the victim can be of any gender. According to some respondents, sexual harassment can majorly be caused by indecent dressing, pressing that a law be enacted by the government with strict regulations concerning dress codes.
People should look into the government. I want the government to enact a law in order for ladies to dress neatly or decently, so the government should try and bring that policy that will make dressing a regulation policy, so that any lady that dress anyhow, they should arrest it.
I think to understand that sexual harassment is like maybe having advantage of a lady, having an intimate advantage of a lady without her consent. Yeah, without her consent, forcefully, and this is not right.
Others stated that sexual harassment has a huge impact in the lives of the victims, causing cases of low self-esteem, mental degradation, anxiety, and even trauma.
Speaking on the implications of sexual harassment has many effects to the victim, both mentally, emotionally, physically, and many other aspects. Because it causes degradation, it causes low self-esteem, it causes sexual dysfunction in most victims. They will not want to partake in it, even if it is mutual. And it also makes the victim traumatizing some kind of ways. They can't partake in some kind of activities. They can't go to some kind of places. They find themselves different from every other person. Like, I can't fit in this kind of place because this kind of thing happened to me, and it doesn't work out, make things work out well for them.
In response to what can be done to curb sexual harassment, some respondents were of the view that strict laws, surveillance, and encouragement to the victims to speak up and report perpetrators are some of the ways that can help in the fight against sexual harassment.
So there should be strict laws, surveillance, and encouragement of the people to speak out when necessary.
The campaign against sexual harassment requires an unwavering commitment from individuals, organizations, and society at large. By understanding the far-reaching impacts of this issue and implementing proactive measures, we can collectively create a culture that values dignity, respect, and equality for all. For CRBC News Panorama, Owan Enoh reporting.
The Central Bank of Nigeria a few days ago announced additional guidelines for Bureau de Change (BDC) operators in bid to improve efficiency in the Nigerian foreign exchange market. The decision comes 2 years after the Apex Bank banned the sale of dollars to Bureau de Change amid effort to stabilize the market. Blessing Basi in this report x-rays the Nigerian exchange rate in comparison to other West African countries. The report.
The Naira Nigeria's legal tender is currently trading at 890 Naira per dollar at the parallel section of the foreign exchange market. The figure represents an appreciation of 60 and 6.3% from the 950 Naira it traded last week. Why is the Nigerian currency losing its value? Although the question is simple, there is no easy answer. A mix of both internal and external issues has been behind the continuous fall in West African currencies. Most West African economies have been unable to recover fully from the economic disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. According to FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange, a platform where foreign exchange is officially traded, the local currency depreciated by 4.08% to close to 774.700 per dollars in Naira.
Affecting the economy very bad, and at some point actually being a very benefit to others gaining from it, which has much more profit from the dollar market, the forex traders and the Bitcoin traders. So it doesn't affect them because they are earning profit. Anything the government wants to try to eradicate, the fuel subsidy, understand? Those are the causes of the high inflation in the market. So,
and why the Naira is doesn't have value, because we are depending in foreign goods. We do not have industry, we don't have factories here. I think the government should see how they can create maybe industries and job opportunities should be given. So the government should try, at least they do one or two things, see how they put one or two things in order to help and make things, the price of things should come down so that life can be easy.
The global economic slowdown due to the Russia's war in Ukraine has resulted in lower demand for African exploits, thereby hurting foreign exchange earnings and pulling down local currencies. The war has also partly driven up import costs from food and fuel, further depleting the foreign exchange reserves in the region. Some respondents said it would take new measures to stabilize the Naira against other currencies, hence efforts such as agricultural modernization, which prepares conditions for industrialization by boosting labor productivity, should be made to curb the situation.
The value of our Naira is drastically depreciating. And when you look at its sisters in our West African states, you realize that what we used to have, the rate, the output we used to have, is no longer sustainable. And I can trace that fact to one particular thing, because we've lost in our agricultural sector. So if we don't go back to our agriculture to see that production is more than consumption, our naira will continue to depreciate.
Everything we want to do has to be foreign things, and that's why Nigerian currency has fallen so low. So I believe that the government should work hand in hand in other bodies to make sure that Nigerian currency rise back to its normal stand.
In my own opinion, the effect on the domestic economy on the rate of naira is due to economical problems. Most of our commodities, what we do is export. We only eat. We are not producing anything, and it's going to have effect on our naira. We need to check one, inflation. Two, manufacturing companies need to come back online. We should try to create this mentality of entrepreneurship where we produce our things ourselves.
In Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu announced an end to the country's multiple exchange rate system, which was used to artificially keep the naira strong. As a result, in the past month, the Central Bank of Nigeria lifted trading restrictions on the official market, driving down the naira to a record low. Report has it that Ghana happens to have the largest GPD in the region, which makes the cedi the highest currency in West Africa and Sub-Sahara Africa. Research has it that the Nigerian naira is the biggest loser, falling more than 70% against other currency in West Africa this year, primarily after Nigeria's central bank removed trading restriction on the official currency market. Many sub-Saharan countries depend on a narrow range of commodities for foreign exchange. This means that when global demand for those goods falls, the value of their currencies drops too, due to a drop in foreign income. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Basi reporting.
Technology has witnessed impressive evolution in the past few decades, which has in turn transformed the lives of people and helped them evolve with it. Technology has contributed more than anything to help mankind in the life of luxury and convenience. In this report, Idong Sdesien takes us through the evolution of technology, especially the use of gas to power generator. The report.
Today, technology occupies an important place in the modern society. Advancement on technology is taking place on a daily basis, with new ideas and innovations people are putting in for production. Years back, evolution of industries and inventions through all spheres of life have developed compared to now. Looking into the educational system, technology has certainly made life easier for students and teachers through the integration of tools and software, providing interactive learning environment through audio-visual tools. For instance, the adaptive word processor apps, voice input programs, and many more apps for special needs for students to communicate and study.
Technology, the impact of the society, world over there are changes going on. And the only thing that remains constant is change itself. So technology has come, in a way to change the things that were done traditionally to modern ways. Take things like the computers. Usually before this time, one has to type, write, make a draft before coming to, edit it and then send us a letter out. But now, you can do all this thing with software, typing, printing, and makes it more easier. And one thing is that it saves time. The time that we would have used, to write, you can copy and paste and things like that move on. Before this time, the village level, you can have the town crier going around, beating the gong, gong to get things done and all that. But now, one button and the news is out, and everywhere in the world, they're having it.
Technology actually impacted on our lives because from the comfort of a room, you can sit down and make a call to someone that is far away, someone that is in another country. You can sit down from the comfort of wherever you are and make the call without having to travel to where the person is. And technology has also impacted like Facebook. On Facebook, you can also have friends that you have not known before, or friends that you met in primary school and then you guys finish school together, and then you can now meet them again on Facebook in some years later.
In Cross River State and Nigeria, many are into the idea of using gas in place of fuel in generator for power supply. They are of the opinion that this innovation reduces expenditure comparing the price of getting fuel and filling the gas.
Technology has really impacted positively in the lives of people, and then to be specific, with the use of gas in terms of technology, it has really help people. He has curtailed the expenses on other gas products, and with the use of technology, to me, more things are yet to be found. Then more things are still coming up.
You can describe technology as a point of making things easier for the new generation. I can look at the former past years. They were using something like typewriter. But today we are talking about even phone, not even computer again. You can play all what you like through laptop. So technology is the greatest thing that is empowering life in a greater way.
At Highway in Calabar, technology has been on a great improvement as people are seen venturing into developing one thing or the other for human development. For News Panorama, I am Idon reporting.
The rate of crime in Nigeria due to current financial situation is alarming. In this report, we take a look at factors involved in the increase of crime rates in Nigeria. Inyang Basi brings more details on this report. The report.
There's a feeling of helplessness in Nigeria as far as insecurity is concerned. Many have resorted to self-harm and substance abuse. Organized crime in Nigeria range from human trafficking, armed robbery, assassinations, kidnappings, prostitution, banditry, and terrorism attacks. We cannot discuss crime in Nigeria without referring to the government at the federal level, which has the primary responsibility to protect the lives of the citizens in the country. The increasing rate of crime in Nigeria, however, shows the failure of the parts of the government.
The youths now, they do not have like transport fare, the cost price of food, accommodation. They have made things hard for the youths that make them to go into robbery, stealing of money, like handbag picking. So it has really affected us in this area because the small money that we have now is being stolen by fellow youths like us because of lack of money, lack of finances.
The current crime that is going on in Nigeria, or hardship that is going on in Nigeria, affects a lot of Nigeria youth as a whole. The current hardship in Nigeria have affected Nigeria youth to handpick things that do not belong to them and do all kinds of things that is not in a negative way to their heads again.
It has also affected the young people in the society of school age, as increasing numbers now involve in various crimes. Youth now view education as a waste of time, money, and resources, embracing cybercrime, internet fraud, and kidnapping, as well as prostitution for the ladies. Economic deprivation and poverty are among the main causes of crimes in the country, in cases where some people are forced to engage in illegal activities in order to survive. The reason is related to poverty. In separate interviews, some citizens stated that unemployment and poverty have been the major causes of crimes in the country and society today.
As the rate of crime increased due to the financial situation we find ourselves. Well, as a matter of fact, in a situation where youth have not been looking up to, they will likely to take a decision to be committing a lot of atrocity in the society. It is not their fault, it is as a result of the fact that they have not been given the right orientation and the right mindset of the right direction they should follow so that it shall be well with them in their generation. Because it takes those that have the same like mind with you to walk along with you. So I want to say that youth who does not have something doing, riding on the street, the rate of crime is going to be highly increased if they don't have something doing that will make them self-reliant. So the youth in the society need to be encouraged on how to do one or two things that will make them to be self-reliant, because if you don't have something doing, you end up looking for something doing, either positively or negatively, because if you don't have something positively doing that will earn you a living, you end up doing something negatively.
As we all know, we did not expect all these kind of fuel subsidy to be as long as this period. Yes, because now people are no longer using their vehicles.
people are no longer coming outside, especially school now. Most of us are no longer coming to school because of transport. Maybe you see somebody that's coming from Kansas to this place, you get 500 for transport, going back 500, that's 1,000 per day. And now that thing also can lead us to criminal, bribery, corruption, all those kind of things.
Research reveals that Nigeria is among countries in the world with the lowest level of peace. The non-peace index value in Nigeria is 2.71, which signifies that the more the value, the less the peace in the country. Increase in the cost of living widens the income gap between the rich and the poor, which has pushed vulnerable people into crimes. Others are of the opinion that fighting corruption is just a waste of time, energy, and effort when the welfare of the people has reduced and there is a rising employment and poverty ravaging the economy. The crime rate in Nigeria is indeed alarming due to the various economic factors. There is a growing need for government to address problems associated with unemployment, inflation, and poverty, as this will reduce the crime rate and increase the welfare of the people. For CRBC News Panorama, I am Inyang Basi reporting.
That is all we have on our lineup this week. We hope to be back same time next week. I am Josephine Efama.